following program is intended for a mature listening audience. Graphic and explicit language may be heard at times. The views expressed and opinions given by the individual hosts and their guests do not necessarily express those of this station or sponsors. Listeners are advised that neither the station nor owners and agents will be held liable for the content of this program. Rebroadcast, redistributed, or reused without the express written permission without the host or producer is not allowed. You are listening to Family Spirit International.
Well, hey, welcome, you guys. Welcome to Family Spirit tonight. My name is Blaine. Lee's going to be here in just a little bit with us. She had to do some stuff with her grandbaby, so she'll be here in the second half. We have a great guest for you guys tonight. This guy is pretty cool. His name is Jeremy Cotter, and he's also a pro wrestler. So that's pretty cool, man. I like little sick pleasures. I like to watch wrestling ever since I was a little kid, and it's been fun for me to watch. It's like a soap opera for men. So, but yeah, we appreciate everybody being there. And Brendan, can you bring our guest on, please, sir?
Hello.
Well, hey, Jeremy, how you doing, brother?
Not too bad. How are you today, man?
Man, I'm live and kicking. Still above dirt, so I'm doing great. Yeah, we'd like to thank you for coming on the show, man. This is the first time we've ever had a pro wrestler.
It's my honor, man. Really good.
Dude, it's pretty cool because I grew up like 4 houses down from a TV station in Montgomery, Alabama. And they used to have signs outside the station like, oh, every Tuesday and Wednesday during the summertime. Free wrestling, come watch. And they tape it that day. So we'd sometimes sit there through 4 or 5 different tapings and got to do it for free. And we thought that was the coolest thing. We never had to pay to go see it, but it was always fun to watch. And I'll tell you, one of my best experiences, I was probably like 9 years old, and we were in the front row seats, and we were sitting next to one of the wrestlers' daughters. And she just tapped me. She says, all right, my dad's going to come out. They're going to throw him out of the ring, and then he's going to get kicked back toward us. When he yells, just go the way he yells. And I'll never forget, this guy probably had to be about 6'2", 450, nothing but big. and as he was coming toward us, all I heard was, roll left. I rolled. And just where I was sitting, he crushed like the 3 chairs that were there. We thought that was the coolest thing, man. That, of course, we're little kids like, dude, did that hurt? I'm okay. That's what was funny of it. Yeah, I've always liked it, man. And I'm the weird kid. Always liked the heel factions. Always like 4 Horsemen were always my favorite because they did some of the best promos. I don't think there's better mic men in the whole business than the 4 Horsemen when they did interviews or just mic time.
I started off as a fan, obviously, probably, back in like the 80s. And I mean, growing up here in the Northeast, I was definitely more of a WWF fan before and an old school NWA fan. And nobody was better on the microphone than Bobby the Brain Heenan, in my personal perspective.
I will agree with you. That man, that he never scripted anything. It just come right off his heart. And he said what he thought, which I thought was always cool. Yeah, you don't see a lot of wrestlers doing that anymore today when they're doing interviews. It's all so pre-scripted. It's like, okay, this isn't actually fun when you guys made your own promos up. That was pure gold, just pure gold, man.
It was, that's the best part. And when I got involved in wrestling in 1991. I actually went to Killer Kowalski's wrestling school up here in Massachusetts. That's where I'm from. And, I am very thankful to have gone to such a legend in the business getting put through the ringer and getting beat down week after week, day after day. When you're somebody who wasn't quite the most athletic individual throughout school and whatnot, and then you get into a business that's all athletics, and then you learn the personas, and you learn the characters, and you learn all of that, and it goes well together. And you know, it took a few years, even when I first started wrestling on the independents, to finally start learning that, okay, the wrestling part is cool, but what about the character development and learning about characters? And like my character, I'm sure you saw some of the pictures. I played an insane lunatic for several years in the beginning of my career. You know, and then when we got involved with the NWA affiliate in New England, I switched characters to a New York street thug gang member with a couple of friends of mine, and we did this thing called the New York Posse. And at one point, we actually were managed by James E. Cornette, which was actually really cool too.
Oh, are you serious? Corny is just the best too. That's another talker. That man, he's just amazing, and his knowledge.
I love him more now with his podcasts than I did when he was on TV.
Well, I like it because he speaks his mind. He don't give a rat's ass who he offends, who he makes mad, but they're watching his podcast like it's going out of style. I'm like, I wish ours had that many numbers. I'd be happy.
Yeah, I mean, I still do watch today, because I mean, a lot of people that I knew when they were kids are actually in the ring now and performing, which is kind of neat, you know.
I know. Yeah, I bet that side of it. It's like, since you most of us are smart marks anyway. So, and people don't know, it means we know what's going on behind the scenes. We know it is predetermined, but the stuff they do in the ring, that ain't predetermined, and they do get actual injuries, really bad injuries too.
Injuries happen all the time. I'm lucky that. I mean, I might have had like 10 or 12 broken noses, and I got to be honest with you, I lost track of the concussions after about 5 or 6. Legitimately 5 or 6, because chair shots to the head were still normal back then.
Yeah.
But as far as like unregistered concussions, I bet you I got over a dozen more on top of all of that. So it's like, I mean, I wrestled during the mid 90s and the late 90s when extreme wrestling was big. So like the tables and the chairs and the thumbtacks and the barbed wire were intricate parts of some matches, and God, those things suck.
I can imagine, man. I'm just looking at like when they Mick Foley used to throw those bags of tacks, and I'm like, why? Like, why?
Because it just it enhanced.
You don't have to go downstream. I guess.
Yeah, well, he learned all that from going to Japan. He learned all that by going to Japan.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, I think there's a lot of them that learned stuff like that from Japan. I know the matches were different. Like you say, a Ric Flair and a Hogan went over there. Their matches were a little bit different than what you see stateside. Now, Mick Foley, no telling what he did overseas in Japan. Who knows? Flaming barbed wire, exploding rings.
Absolutely. I mean,
who knows on that man?
And I respect what he went through. I couldn't do half the shit that he did. I mean, that's just not my.
Oh, yeah.
I retired in 2011. I did my last official in-ring match around 2013 for a charity, but it was time. My body was done, and I did help out behind the scenes, and I helped run a couple of small shows and help with character development for young up and coming people. But then I switched my focus towards the paranormal, about 10 years ago or so. And I honestly, I still love wrestling and I still watch it to this day, but I don't regret switching focus either.
No, I don't believe it. I don't blame you, because hell, I love the paranormal. I've been around it for 58 years. Let's see, I'm like you. I'm an intuitive. I'm a medium. I'm an empath. Let's see, clairaudient. About every of those things that you could say, I've got those gifts, and I've enjoyed the hell out of them for 58 years. And that's one of the cool things. Is like when you finally realized you're intuitive. How old were you when you figured it out?
Oh, you're talking only a handful of years ago, and probably about, like I said, I'll give you a quick little thing. Like my wife was a really big fan of all the TV shows and all of that, and I was a really big skeptic. I didn't believe any of that stuff was anything, And then one day, she decided she wanted to go to an investigation. I'm like, what the hell is that? So I went with her, and when we went to this location, when they were doing a walkthrough, I saw this shadow figure pop out from the side of the wall and blocked out the street lights and everything, and then just disappeared. And when I was involved, being involved in professional wrestling, I'm like, okay, where's the gimmick? Where's the smoke machine? Where's the mirror?
Exactly.
Yeah. But when there was nothing, because this place was so rustic that there was nothing there, I was like, holy crap, there is something to this. And then honestly, it just kept going from there. It was really amazing. I mean, I went from, just trying to understand it to like, then I can actually physically see them like in person when I'm with people. I can see people's spirit guides and family members when they're with them.
Yes.
Once in a while, I can do auras and stuff like that too. But I think when I really understood the whole clairvoyant part of everything, we were at the Conjuring House. And we were doing an investigation at the Conjuring House, and we were sitting in a group of people, and the woman running the event, she's a psychic medium, and we were going around the room. Everybody introduces each other so everybody knows who's in the building. And I said, my name's Jeremy, and I can do certain things. And she goes, you need to say what you really are. I'm like, what is that? She goes, you're a clairvoyant. And then it's like the true light bulbs that are going off. And I decided that from that point forward, I'm not going to dismiss anything. I'm going to, and I stay open a lot. I probably shouldn't stay open as much as I do, but I stay open a lot because I want to experience everything that I can in the paranormal, And I'll be honest with you, I'm old school. I use like dowsing rods, pendulums, Ouija boards. I have a K2 that I like to use to help verify what I'm feeling. But I mean, I pretty much, I'm very gracious that I'm able to actually see spirits and talk to them directly, and then have people's devices actually link up with what I'm actually
and validation is the best part. One of the things I could suggest for you, because I've done this for a long time, don't think about your gifts. I call it let it flow, because as soon as you start thinking about your gifts, they're going to go away. Your brain's going to tell you no, 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 no. Okay, so I've learned just not think about it and let it happen naturally. And it happens a lot more. And once you embrace your gifts, because you're more than actually a clairvoyant, whether you know it or not, you're also a medium and an empath, that you can feel energies that I can pick up on you.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really gotten into the mediumship as far as like that part of it, but I definitely have wicked empath. I mean, I feel people's emotions before I even and I can be honest with you, I work at a hospital in the nutritional services and delivering food to people's rooms, and I can kind of feel what they're going through, and I don't even need to look at a chart or anything. That's kind of that's kind of draining at times, And I agree with you as far as the I don't concentrate on my abilities. I don't sit there going all day long, I'm a clairvoyant. I don't do that, but I respect the gifts that I have been given to be able to communicate. And I try to use them to help people, or try to help help people, whether it's just something simple like like ease somebody's pain because I can see that their loved one is okay, or like say that somebody's having a problem with a spirit in the house, and all that spirit wants you to do is put out a cup of tea for them with a tea bag in it, and sit down and pretend but to have tea with them. And I've suggested that as well. And these things have worked. And I'm like, wow, why did I know this? How did I know this? And you know what? I really appreciate the gifts that I was given. I don't take them for granted. I refuse to do any of that kind of thing, because it's not okay. I mean, I think that we are given, I honestly believe that we are given these gifts for a reason.
Exactly.
And once you exploit them and you become, I don't know, cocky about it, I feel that it kind of, it just ruins the taste on it. And there's so much negativity in the world, not just in the paranormal, but in general, that I try to stay away from all of that. And I try to just embrace all the positive that I can. So,
okay. Another thing I can help you out with too is do not ever give them your energy directly, because there's energy always around us. We don't have to give ours at all. It's all around us. They can pull from around us. They don't have to get ours, because I don't know if you know this yet, but spirits get greedy.
Oh yeah.
If you give them a little, they're going to take 10 miles. So I've learned to tell them, okay, look, take the energy around me. I'm not giving you mine. Take it what's around me, and you have plenty.
Yeah.
And a lot of times spirits understand too. And if you get like overwhelmed being an empath, I had to do this myself because hospitals used to be like hell for me because I picked up every living person's emotions there, every person that ever been in that hospital, all the dead, sick, dying, all of that, and which I'm sure you probably pick up on a lot too.
I have learned how to, if I kind of learned how to phase it out a little bit, to be honest with you. But when something profound happens at the hospital, that's when I make sure that I'm in tune, because I have had some amazing experiences where I work in the short period of time that I've been there. I mean, I've been able to witness somebody's energy ascending out of their body and going into the light.
Yes.
Like, and the first time that I don't know about you, but the first time that I experienced that, it still makes the hairs on my arms stand up, because it was just such a profound experience that I wish I could make that shit up. And I hate to curse it. I hate to use curse word about it, but I can't make that shit up, because I can feel it now, even a year or so after it happened. The first one that I ever saw was just so amazing, because I was able to witness that, and I can still feel that to this day, and even though I have seen a few more since then.
Yeah. Now, Jeremy, we do not have a limitation on our show. So you say what you want to say, because we do put a disclaimer out in front of the show. So if you want to talk, that's fine, because I'm gonna cuss too. So, but yeah,
I agree. But I try to stay as respectful as I can, because
you are very respectful. I'm just letting you know that this is some surreal stuff. So it's real life stuff. So we're gonna talk like it's for real. Now, my first person I ever saw their spirit leave their body was my grandfather when I was 7 years old. And this is funny to me now, but I have 4 brothers, and only one of my other brothers would stay at my grandfather's house because they wanted to go home. Well, me and my brother Shannon, he's like my second youngest brother. We went to bed with my grandpa, and I remember waking up and seeing him not moving, because this man was like up at the butt crack of dawn every day, having coffee on the pot, ready to go. Well, he wasn't moving. And I don't know how I knew to do this, being 5 or 6 years old. I stuck my hand up under his nose to see if he was breathing. I bent my head down, listened to his chest. Then I stepped away off the bed, and I was like, oh, I think Papa Rowan's dead. And I did. I just backed off the bed, and I watched his spirit literally lift out of his body, sit at the top of the ceiling for about 15, 20 seconds. I remember he looked at me and smiled, says, I'll always be with you. And then poof, he was gone. So that was my first one.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, like I said, the first ascension that I call it an ascension, because there's really nothing else I can possibly call it.
Yeah.
And it was just, to me, it was just one of those things where it just happened, and it was in the critical care unit at the hospital. And I saw this. He was surrounded by his family members, and he was laying there, and they hadn't even lowered his eyelids down. And I just remember seeing it lift off of his body, and then there was like a little like bright spot above his head, and and the spirit went right into that light, and then it was just gone. Yeah. And I know it sounds like a movie set or something, but it was just when seeing it in real life, it was like, wow.
Especially energy workers like us, that is such a beautiful thing, because that when a lot of people don't believe it, but that is a very positive energy when the soul leaves the body and goes to the afterlife. It is very good energy. Even if somebody died tragically, but that passing it's pretty nice. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. I know that he felt a lot of pain before he went, because when I delivered his final tray up to the unit, I was sweating profusely and I had horrific stomach pains. Like I was ready, like I was doubled over. Yeah. But then when I left the unit, all of a sudden the pain went away. But I was sweating so much it looked like I had gone swimming before I headed back downstairs. And then when I went back downstairs to the kitchen, that's when they sent me up with a comfort tray, because he had just passed, and I was like, wow. I mean, I felt I felt all of that final rush.
Yeah.
And, I feel bad for him, and I hope his family is doing well to this point. So that's, that's,
I mean, that is one of the side effects of our gifts, but I was always taught, but if it's good, bad, or indifferent, treat it the same way. And yeah, I felt that when my father passed last August.
Ooh,
and it's funny, I knew, because my dad lives down South Alabama. I went and saw him like 6 days before he died, because I had to come back and go to work. I couldn't stay any longer. So the minute he died, I felt my dad go. And then my mom calls me probably not even 7-8 minutes later, says, your dad just passed. I said, I know. Says, how do you know? I said, I felt it. And my mom was like, are you okay? I said, yeah, I'm fine. I mean, my dad was 80 years old. He lived a full life. So, I thought it was cool. Now, what was funny though, before I left, I told him, I said, Dad, okay, when you pass, you're going to get to see family members you haven't seen forever. And this is like 2 days after my dad died. He shows up at my house in my living room, and he looks right at me and goes, little bastard. He said, oh, you told me all my family would be here. All I see is lights. I said, Dad, those are your family. Oh, okay. Then he come back 2 days later and goes, I guess I wouldn't open my eyes right, okay? I was like, jeez. My dad's a mess up, but I thought it was funny.
At least he's in a comfort, in a place of no pain and none of that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It's funny because he in June, him and my mom were up in Alaska. They walked on a glacier in Alaska.
Oof.
In July, my dad played 36 holes of golf walking. And then 1st of August, he got where he didn't feel right. He felt like lightheaded.
Yeah.
And the first diagnosis they gave him that he had some kind of viral infection. Then it went from viral infection to, oh no, he's got pancreas cancer. Like, no, he don't. Now he's got stage 4. It's already in the brain. He's got 2 weeks to live. I'm like, what the hell,
It's quick. It snaps in all the way through.
But I tell you what, my dad was so damn stubborn. He could have just went into the light anytime he wanted to, but my dad wanted to say goodbye to every family member friend he ever had. And I arranged that. I got everybody that I could get to come see Dad. And Dad, on his last day that I got to stay with him, says, who else is left? I said, Dad, you've seen everybody. Everybody. I said, Dad, you can go peacefully, please. I know you're suffering. Just go ahead, let go. And he finally did a week later. So
that's the hard part. I would imagine.
Well, the cool thing for people like us, though, I still get to see my dad every day. So,
I know. I mean, when I lost my mom, when I lost my mom to cancer back in 2007, she's like my protector when I go into investigations and whatnot. She's right there making sure that that stuff doesn't happen, because I'm a magnet. I'm a beacon for spiritual energy, to be honest with you. I know it sounds kind of awkward, but when I'm,
you're right, I am too.
And I'm lucky enough that I have experiences almost every single time that I go to a thing, because it's like I go in and I respect every spirit that's in there, and I don't try to, and I don't I'll be honest with you, I rebranded myself as far as like, I don't call myself a paranormal investigator. I call myself a paranormal communicator. And I actually decided to put that in the title instead of investigator, because
I like that.
What am I investigating? I'm not investigating. Am I work for the IRS, or am I supposed to? Am I breaking out a heat lamp and I'm trying to grill them on what happened to them on August 31st, 1851? No. What I'm there to do is I'm there to talk to them, to see how they are, to get to learn about them, to hear their stories, to hear what they want to say. To me, that's the most important thing to me. And like, I don't know how to use any of the high-tech equipment. I don't use ovuluses. I think they're interesting, but I also think they're extremely flawed ovuluses, and the ghost boxes kind of annoy me, but thankfully they have some now that got rid of that crap.
That used to drive me nuts.
yeah, it drove me nuts. But like I said, I'm old school. I like to use
Yeah.
pendulums, and I've done a little bit of spirit board stuff now because my wife actually allows me to use those now because she's she's slowly integrating herself into it. But there are certain things that I wouldn't be allowed to do because it's I learned by accident that I can channel. And
Yeah.
it was a couple of times it was really interesting. One time it was really, really bad, and it was amazing to learn like the different phases of channeling. Like when I channel, I am sent to an alternate plane of existence.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
I've had multiple scenes of either being stuck down in a well and looking up and seeing shadows and hearing voices and trying to figure out how to get out of it, to walking down a hallway with doors on it that like go all the way down, kind of like in the Shining Hotel, and like trying all the doors. And when I finally find an open one, then I come back in.
Yeah.
I'm walking through the woods and finally seeing a light at the end of the trail, or there's been multiple different ways. And then people are like, "Did you know you said this?" I'm like, "I have no idea what I said or what was going on at the time." And I am open to channeling. I've helped people out before by doing it, but I make sure that I have like one or two people that I trust that can pull me out if I'm in, because sometimes I can't come out. I can't come out on my own. I need to have somebody pull me out. So that's that was an interesting byproduct that I did not know that I could do. It was a channeling thing. And
Jeremy, one of the things you can do too is when you're channeling, have yourself a safe word, whatever you want it to be that day. And I've learned to do this once I give myself, because mine was so intense and so in depth of what I pick up on that I had to give myself. And I've got a word that I'll say when I'm ready to come out of it. I'll just say the word. Next thing I know, I'm released. I'm back where I'm supposed to be, and that works for me. So I've been doing this so long. I love helping people that's just now coming into their gifts. Now you've been like 10 years, and I've been
involved I've been involved in the paranormal for about 10 years, but everything for me has like just gotten stronger and stronger and stronger. For I'd say the last 5 or 6 years, it's definitely gotten more and more.
Yeah.
And and I like the fact that something new is going on here or there, and the fact that when I get a chance to experience something different, and that to me that's the best part about all of this,
Oh yes.
And when I go into an investigation, I'm there just to enjoy, and see, and I like to go in and not really know what's going on and see what the spirits have to say. And sometimes the spirits that I talk to aren't even necessarily the spirits that belong in the house. They're the ones that people dropped off their psychological garbage and left it. And some people, I had an attachment here or there. I've had like one or two, but I've been lucky enough that they weren't like major horrifying ones. So I know some people who have had majorly bad attachments that have caused them a lot of pain and misery, and I'm just glad that has not happened to me yet.
Yeah, so, and I learned little techniques young from my grandmother, who's Cherokee. And she told me, she's like, okay, one of the things you got to learn to do is called ground yourself. There's several ways to ground yourself. My easiest way is, like I told you before, there's always energy. I could get it through my hands. I could be sitting down, lying down, upside down. It don't matter, because it's always going to find its way to the ground. And I imagine that energy coming through the tips of my fingers, through my body to the ground. I'll do it 3 times, and then I'll pull it back up 3 times, because that's just my favorite number, and it always worked for me. But you can do it any way you'd like to.
Yeah, usually I'll do a grounding meditation before I even step foot into a location. Sometimes even before I even get in the car to drive to a spot, like I'll do like a 10-minute grounding meditation, or and then I will grant spirits access to me, but then I close off at the end. I always make sure that I close off at the end, because I think it's very, very important that you do something like that, because you can be open to just bad intentions from some people. And I also like to carry my jet stones with me in my pocket, or my darker stone. I always keep one. it's kind of like I keep a dark stone in one pocket, and then I keep like a quartz or like one of those crystal rod type things in my other pocket to help
Yep.
cleanse.
Yes.
So I'm grounding and I'm also cleansing at the same time.
Yep.
It does help, a lot. So
Yeah. And a lot, I've learned to tell spirits now. It's like, look, back off. Okay, I can feel what you're feeling. You don't have to show me anymore. Just tell me. I can hear you. I can see you. You don't have to show me. And that started working a lot for me because I got hit like at an old hospital up in Helen, Georgia. I didn't know it was a hospital before. It was just like this real nice restaurant place now. And I was sitting down and eating, and it's like I got attacked by this spirit. Then this spirit was like, okay, this one got gunshot. This one got stabbed. This one was pregnant. It was like 40 of them at one time. And I'm like, whoa, back off. I don't need all this at once, because it was very painful mentally and physically, because I could feel everything they felt from when they were having their surgeries or when they got shot or stabbed or whatever. And I just started backing them off. I'm like, oh, whoa, back off.
I truly feel that, they know that we can communicate with them.
Oh yeah.
And as soon as one of them realizes, I swear to God, they relay it to the other ones, and then they're all like, "Hey, this guy can talk to us. Let's go talk to him." And it's like, whoa, I get it. It's cool. But how about like one at a time if you want to talk?
I know, it's like, especially me doing a ghost box session. Now I do the ones that doesn't have the rattle in it, and I get good stuff from them. I get full sentences, full paragraphs from them. And if I walk away from it, though, I'll start asking where I went to. I think it's just the coolest thing. I was like, watch this. I bet I walk 5 feet away and they start calling my name. It's like bam, 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 bam. They look at me like I was crazy. I was like, it happens every time I do it. And I've done this for a long time. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's like, especially you said too, once spirits find out you're a beacon or a moth to a flame, there they are. I'll get weird ones. It's like, we'll be in a location and it's like none of the spirits in that location will talk, but I'll get spirits of family members or people that are there, or past lives that had lived on that property or passed through that property. And then other times you get nothing but the people that were there. But yeah, but always, if I have somebody new, I said, watch, be listening when I do these ghost box sessions, because there will be family members that come through, and I need you to tell me if that's one of your families, because I just hear the voices. Now I could probably look into it hard if I wanted to, but I want them to get that experience. Oh, that's my Uncle Joe, or that was my mom, or this is my cousin Bill, No,
you're right. And I think, one of the biggest questions I've always had, and obviously we will never know because we're not on that side of the veil, is that how do they see us? What do they see when they see us off from their side? Okay. Do they see shadows of us like we see shadows of them? We don't really know because we haven't truly been there yet. We can speculate all day long on it. It's just that most of the spirits that we interact with are they're not shapeless in form, but they're shapeless in detail. You don't get a lot of true detail on a lot of the spirits that we interact with. So I mean, how do they physically see us coming from the other side? Can they see some of us and not all of us? I'm thinking this probably could be the case. But
what I've been told by spirits, and I've asked that same question to, is that they see us in the same form that we see them. Okay, if they're coming to us as a shadow, we'll be a shadow person to them. If they're a full-bodied apparition, we'll be a full-bodied apparition to them. And but sometimes they can see just your energy and it's outlined of just your pure energy instead of your physical appearance. I've had them tell me that before. But it's funny, they know us that are gifted like this.
Yeah.
So they're more attracted to come see us. I always laugh when people ask me, says, do you see ghosts everywhere you go? I said, yeah, everywhere I go is haunted, because I hear and see spirits. It's what I've done since I was 4 or longer.
And I hate to say it, let's face it, every square inch of ground you step on, there has been blood spilled at some point or another in the annals of time and space. So there's bound to be spiritual energy every square inch you go.
Exactly.
We're fortunate enough that we can see the spirits, but I'm kind of glad that I don't see all of them, because I think that it would be a nonstop cavalcade and we would never even be able to sleep because people would be poking us, trying to wake us up, or whatever. I'm all about trying to help spirits, but I can't do it 24 hours a day.
Well,
You need to be able to breathe, you know?
what I tell them is, look, once I go into my bedroom, that's my time. Okay, your time difference is different than mine. So my little 8 hours of sleep is not going to affect you. You can, first thing in the morning when I wake up, as soon as I walk past this door, you can start talking to me again. And that's how I got them to stop. Because before it was like, I'd be good to sleep too, and I hear, like, what the hell? And I'm looking at my wife, she's over there like dead to the world. My dogs are dead asleep. And I'm like, oh, you get out of my room. It's like, okay, like they can't. Oh no, it's like my dog says they have no personal. They don't know what personal space is. They don't know what certain times. It's like, dude, I'll still be here tomorrow. Let me rest. The more I get rest, the better I can communicate with you. Because if I'm lacking sleep, no telling what I might say to you. You know. But yeah,
That's true.
I think it's funny though, and it's like sometimes they'll ask you for like the stupidest things. It's like, what are you gonna cook today? Like, I don't know. Because you wait till tomorrow? Because I figured it out myself. But
exactly.
I get stupid stuff like that, man. It's like, God. Or,
yeah. It might be stupid to them. I mean, to you, but not maybe that to them. They're like, you know, they're all about like cooking. They could be a chef, or they could be interested because our food definitely doesn't look the same as their stuff does, because because I mean, the majority of the more haunted locations and the deeper you get into the historical places, their way of life was completely different than the stuff that we have these. And I think that's the main reason why I'm not big on the tech side of it, Blaine, is because they don't know what the fuck a REM pod is. They don't know what. They don't know what the ghost box is. They don't know what all these light up things like the lantern. Those things are really cool and they light up and they're neat, but they have no idea what that is because they don't know that technology wasn't existed back then.
No, they never saw it.
They might know what the spirit board is, or a pendulum, or the rods and things like that, or just basic communication, because that's what was around during their time.
Oh yeah, I always think it's funny. It's like, hey, can you touch this device? Okay. For one, the spirits don't even know what the device is. It's like, can you go touch the thing that's got the pretty lights on it? Then bam, they'll hit it. But if I say, hey, go touch this REM pod, like you said, it's like, what? Who, what? What's a REM pod?
And sometimes they don't want to touch it because we don't know what the hell that is. We know that witchcraft. We're not touching that crap.
It's like, that's what they might be thinking. It's like, how's this dude making shit come out of nothing over here with no fire under,
Especially up in the New England area where I am, a lot of the places that we go to, the spirits that we communicate with, early 1900s, late to mid 1800s, 1700s, sometimes even the 1600s, and they don't know what the heck these light up devices are. Like, what on earth is that sorcery? What is this? I mean,
exactly.
Yeah,
I've had reactions like that in like Salem. It's
oh
like,
God,
it's like, dude, like, what the hell's that? What kind of witchery is this? And I got one spirit says he must be a warlock. I'm like, maybe, I don't know. I might have been in one of the past life, but Florida, maybe, I don't know.
To them, you currently look like a warlock because you're using forms of communication that to them they have no idea. Because I mean, what they had lit candles, they came out candles and bonfires, and oil, and maybe even oil lamps at the earliest stages for lighting. So to them, these things that light up multiple colors, what on earth is that?
I know.
So
I like it when they do get interested. But if I could talk tonight, I'd be dangerous. Interested. Sorry.
It's all right.
My tongue said, you're not going to work today, son bitch. Okay. But yeah, I think it's interesting when they figure it out. It's like, wait a minute, that's not going to hurt. Now let's play with this thing. And I don't know what it is. They love twisting flashlights.
Oh God. Yeah. I don't know. I think maybe the flashlight is as close a thing to a candle as they recognize, and it might be easy to just touch it and have like one stream of light come out versus multiple colors and flashing, and the sounds that those things make sometimes. Yeah, they can be kind of disorienting, Well,
what's funny too is like most of them in that era probably had British descent, so They call every flashlight a lantern. I mean, what do they call it? Shoot, a torch.
Yeah, a torch. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what they're seeing. They're thinking it's a torch. It's like, oh, I got to just move this thing a little bit. That works. But yeah, it's interesting to watch them do that on command. It's like, okay, that's so cool to see. That, but when I'm looking at the person actually touching the flashlight, got the biggest grin on their faces because they made it work.
Yeah.
Especially children's spirits, they'll just get giddy when they see something and they can make something work.
Kids like like toys. They're into all that kind of stuff, you know.
Oh, sure. But yeah,
No
that's
doubt.
interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. And I love your area up there in New England. I investigated Salem. I investigated the USS Salem.
Yep.
Fun
I love that
time.
boat.
Oh, I had so much fun in that boat.
Yeah.
I had several people that were there that were just big disbelievers, didn't believe this stuff happened. And I'll never forget, we're doing a ghost box session up in the captain's quarters. And I said, watch this. I'm going to leave and they're going to call my name. I walked 5 foot out the door. It's like, where's Blaine? Where's Blaine? Where's Blaine? Like 15 times. Then I poked my head back in the door, goes, right here. And they all look at me. It's like, how do you do that? What trickeration are you trying? I'm like, I do not do any trickeration. I walked out and I told you what they were going to do. They did.
Yeah.
And then I always tell like the ones that are most skeptical, I'll have a spirit go, just touch him or touch her. One time. That's all I ask. And watch them freak out. It is so hilarious to me. And the spirit gets a kick out of it too. It's like, then they get the grin at me. It's like, got him, didn't I? I'm like, oh yeah, you did. Thank you.
Yeah, I've channeled a couple of big energies on the USS Salem.
Oh,
You know?
yeah.
And I mean, I respect that ship.
Oh,
there were a few that were not so nice. I still have one that I still feel was a next level entity that I channeled, and that thing was insanely powerful.
Yeah.
And it was almost like, I almost feel, in my personal opinion, that was in the elemental category of energy, because the guy sitting next to me was a guy about my size, a big guy, and the energy that went through me almost knocked him out of the chair and onto the floor.
Nice.
And that was the spirit that I had gone down and helped out some friends of mine on an investigation. I told them they could use me as a conduit to be able to communicate with the spirit. And that was rough. That was definitely a long evening.
I can imagine. Now lately, I don't know why this is happening to me, but the last few investigations I've been on, there's always a bad pedophile spirit there that's got 2 or 3 children trapped. So I have to deal with these idiots. I love doing it. I love the battle part of it. It's actually fun for me.
Yeah.
I don't provoke them. I just tell them straight up. It's like, really? You're going to keep kids? What kind of man were you? But I'm not provoking them like, hey, you're the big dumb fucker. Kiss my ass. I'm just like, dude, come on, really? Little kids?
Right. Exactly.
They get so mad at me when I make them give up their children. I'm like, dude, that ain't right. This life or afterlife, you shouldn't be controlling anybody except yourself.
And the hard part that I noticed from that, though, is that they never give up. The kids that you think that they give up, they're always finding more, and they're always bringing more back in.
Well, what I do with them is I get my spirit guide Janawa, who's about a 900-year-old Cherokee medicine woman, and when I cross them, they don't come back. They don't get other children because Janawa, for one, wouldn't allow it. And it's so funny. I had one. We're at a jail in Alabama called Pauley Jail. And I'm having this conversation with this pedophile spirit, and I'm asking him, like, really? You got to be, that's the kind of man yours, like, you pick on children? And then, of course, he dog cuts me through the box. I'm laughing because I think it's hilarious. I'm like, all right, one more smart-ass remark from you. You're going to find out that I can send stuff to you. You don't even know it exists yet.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, this spirit said, I'll be goddamned. I'm like, really? That's all you got to say? All right, that's fine. Play. All I said was one word. I said bear, which my spirit animals are bear and a wolf. I called bear. You heard him growl on the spirit box like on cue. Then Ashman said, okay, you met my bear now. Do you want to meet my wolf? He didn't say another word. And I watched him just literally walk up to Janawa and said, take me now. And I watched her walk him through. And I hadn't come back, and he ain't picked up no other children that I picked up on since I did that. Which was so fun to do, though.
Wow. That's pretty cool, man.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
But I've got to do that stuff. That's why I love what I get to do and what I am. I've embraced it so much. I like when people call me a freak. So I am a freak. I like weird things. They fascinate me, especially spirits. I love to be able to talk to them. And I want to hear their side of the story. That's so interesting and fascinating for me to find out stuff from them. That means they're so comfortable with you that they'll start having conversation with you. I just love that.
Yeah, that's probably the main reason why I redubbed myself as a paranormal communicator, is because I prefer that side. I'm not really investigating what these people are doing. I'm more like I'm more into the conversations and whatever they want to tell me. So that's the part that I truly do enjoy the most about going to locations. And I mean, some people's tales are sad, and some people's tales are definitely a little more than you might want to deal with, or some people's tales are happy and they enjoyed their life, and they lived a full life, and some people live a very abruptly a life taken from them, and you just don't know until you start talking to them. It's like the two things, the two questions, I'll be honest with you, that I hate the most. Do you know you're dead, and how did you die? The two things, and the two questions that I hear most investigations and most things are like, do you know you're dead? And I'm like, what if they don't know that they're dead? What if I've encountered so many spirits and so many energies and ghosts, if you will, that they passed so suddenly that they still think that they're in the living side of the realm. And I don't want them to feel like I'm pressuring them into knowing something that they don't really want to know. And I mean, they were human beings just like us. And would I really want to know out of the blue, hey, by the way, you're not really here, you're kind of just like floating around, and nobody can really see you. And I feel that can be very hurtful. And I know I sound like a kook when I'm saying that I can feel their energy. I can feel their emotions and their energy too. And I feel that sometimes that gets lost when you do certain investigations and that kind of stuff. So
now, I'd like to ask them questions like, what do you miss? What are some of the things you miss? Is there music there? Can you dance there? Is there food? An abundance of drink? You can drink all you want to, play all the golf you want to, whatever. Ask them questions like that, and it gets them involved. And you'll be surprised some of the stuff that comes back. Like I've heard, like up at Gettysburg, I've heard a Southern soldier say, "I miss my mama's cornbread." Stuff like that. It's just beautiful to me. What do you miss the most? I miss my wife. I miss my kids. Or no, I miss being not in this war. And that's a lot of stuff. It's relieving them of some of their burden as well. And you get educated and see what they're talking about. It's just beautiful to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess we lost Lee tonight, huh?
No, she'll be here any minute now.
Oh,
She had to get her grandkids.
I can hear them. I can hear them laughing and playing in the background earlier.
I know.
Kids are cute,
Yeah, I love, especially children spirits. They just love me.
Oh God!
What is it? Because I'm like 6'3", like 260, and you're a big guy. It's like, what is it with?
Right now, I'm like 6'3", borderline on 400 pounds. I'm a big man.
Yeah.
And this is how I can sum it up. Women and kids like are comfortable around me because they feel like I'm a protector. But I'll tell
Yes.
you, the male spirits always want to try. I've had a lot. Well, not. No, it's just the truth. Male
Yeah.
spirits have always wanted to kind of like bow up. Sometimes I get like I'm the man of the house, and I respect that. I'm
Of
not there to
course.
try to take. I'm not there
Yeah.
to try to take that place.
Nope.
This is their home.
Yep. It's
You
like me.
know.
I always tell them, look, I'm not here to harm you or disrespect you in
Yeah.
any way, form, or fashion. I'm here to learn from you and show you nothing but love and respect.
Yeah.
And I would love to hear anything you have to say. Well, it's bad toward me. I can take it. I'm a big dude. I was in the military. I could take anything you throw at me. I count as a badge of honor.
I'll
But
tell you
yeah,
the first time I got shoved, and being a big man, being shoved up against a wall was interesting, and like the scratches down the back of the neck, the multiple scratches across, and the energy drain. The first time that happened was
yeah.
I drank like 6 bottles of water, and I couldn't get my color back in me to save
Yep.
my life.
Mhm.
And the bruises I got on my arm one night from a church in Plymouth, Massachusetts. Because I literally felt like somebody was guiding me out of the church because they wanted to have a conversation with me outside in the outer courtyard over near the Burial Hill Cemetery in
Mhm.
Plymouth, Massachusetts. Or the guns or the gunshot and the smell of the smoke that I got from Gettysburg's battlefield one time
Yep.
when I was like out looking at a monument. Next thing you know, I saw a soldier sitting there with the gun, and they were getting ready to shoot it. And then all of a sudden, you could just smell the after effect
Yep.
of the rifle, and it's like, wow.
Yep. I got pushed down in Iraq
Oh
while I
wow.
was over there serving. Yeah, we're in this old hardened air shelter, and it's one of the ones that we'd actually use what they call a bunker buster. And it went through like 12, 14 foot of concrete, a rebar reinforced concrete, into a little sort of bomb shelter that the French built for them. Well,
Yeah.
it didn't actually work like they wanted it to, and I think we killed like 70 of them in there.
Wow.
When I got in there the first time, you can still see the aftermath. You can see pieces of bones, pieces of debris and human matters, and I was sitting there just watching, and there was a bunch of shadow figures, and they're all cussing at me in Farsi, and I just sit there. It's weird because I can understand what they're saying. I don't speak a word of Farsi or any dialect like that at all, but I understood every word they said. And like the second day I was in there, I watched this big, tall, looked like a shadow at first to come through the back wall. And it's probably about 9-10 foot tall. And then the closer you got, I could see his face. And the way this thing looked, it was what they call a jinn, or short for a genie. Yeah, those are real.
Yep.
Yeah, this big bastard came through there. And at first, I could see him in the shadow form, then he got closer. I could see his full form. He was like this gray skin. I just remember he had these big, messed up teeth. And he was huge. And he didn't realize I could see him at first. And then when he realized I saw him, I mean, he ran at me like 3 steps. He was on me and shoved me from behind and knocked me clear to the floor. I stood back up and was like, "What the hell, dude?"
That's crazy.
You see me? I said, "Yeah, see you. I hear you too. You push me again, I'm gonna make sure you never do it to somebody else because I don't play fair. Shove me when I'm not looking at you." So I started threatening with my bear, my wolf, and Janawat, and he was cool after that. But
Yeah,
man, nuts. I got down to hit me so hard at Gettysburg one time, dude. We're standing at the old train station up there.
okay.
Just sitting around. Nobody was smoking at the time. We were just deciding where we were going to go that night because I have like 4 or 5 locations I can go to in Gettysburg. They're like clockwork for us. But just standing there, nobody was smoking, and I got this real nasty cigar smoke in my face. And I know the difference between a good cigar and a dime store cigar. It's a whole different smell of the tobacco and smoke.
Right.
It blew in my face, and the next thing I know, something hit me dead square in the mouth and nose. Dude, I drove back, and this thing hit me so hard. This spirit hit me so hard that my eyes started tearing up. My nose was actually bleeding, and I'm just sitting there like, "What the hell?" And the next thing I heard the spirit looked at me and goes, "You one of them damn Southern pieces of shit, aren't you?" I'm like, "I served the United States military." Yeah, that's the first time I got hit in the face, but that one took a knot, man. Let me tell you.
Definitely wasn't playing, that's for sure.
No, it wasn't. But yeah, I've had several spirits that I've been like hit, kicked, punched, thrown downstairs, shot, stabbed, pushed upstairs, almost hung.
Sometimes they just they're going to do what they want to do, and sometimes you just have to set the boundaries like everything else too. So
It's like I think my spirit guides do that to, give me more endurance in this thing we call what we have.
Yep.
And I just call them battle scars because I lived through them. But yeah, some of them were pretty hurt. I used to have this nice, military haircut, and it hurts worse when they pull that little bit of hair than they do the big part of hair. Big part, I snatch that out every day with a brush, so my head's not sensitive to it. But man, when they get you on them short hairs on the back of your head, oh my God, that hurts.
That's why I shave my head.
Oh no, I got too many damn scars on my head from being a boy growing up. So.
Oh yeah, it's not easy, but I get tired of having hair, so I was like, nope, I'm good.
Well, see, mine was I couldn't have hair for the longest time for 26 years. I was like, I was in the military, so day I retired, I was like, I ain't cutting it again. I haven't cut it. Well, I take that back. I haven't cut it all off. I've trimmed off the dead ends, the stuff like that.
Yeah,
but most of it is all still mine. And it's funny, I always get complimented on my hair from different ladies. She's like, God, you got the most beautiful hair. And I had a lady literally ask me one day if I had a wig on. I'm like, what? She said, there ain't no way a man's gonna have that pretty hair. There ain't no wig. I said, baby, this is all natural.
There you go. That's cool.
Yeah, man. It's like I love what we get to do. And I'm jealous of you because you got all those cool places up there in New England to go to. And I don't get to go up to those no more because I was working over at Pax River in Maryland for a while. So I was right there on that East Coast. I mean, shoot, we went to Napanoch. We went to Gettysburg like 20 times. And if you ever go back to Gettysburg, I'll tell you 2 places you probably don't even know about, but you get some of the best activity there. All right, I'm sure you've heard of the one bridge, the covered bridge they have there, Sachs Bridge.
Sachs. The hanging bridge. Yeah.
On the way to Sachs, there is another bridge that was that I think the latest one. It was called the Eisenhower Bridge because it been rebuilt, but it's like not too far away from, like 4 or 5 blocks away from Sachs Bridge. But the Eisenhower Bridge is still like a modern looking bridge, but it did have a covered bridge like there is at Sachs. And that place is so active. You'll start hearing spirits as soon as you get out the car, calling people's names.
Wow.
Like that's pretty neat. And another place I love that a lot of people don't know about, there's an elementary school there. Yeah. And behind the elementary school, there is a outdoor classroom, which is right in the battlefield. And the only thing you got to do is stop at the sheriff's office and say, hey, we're going back behind the school. I said, I'm not going to mess with anything. We're going back to the classroom. They'll go, all right, man. Because he said they know if we got in the damn school because the alarms go off. Like, I don't want to near the school, man. I've done my time in school. I want to go talk to the spirits back here.
Yeah, I thought I saw her pop on for a second, and then she popped off again.
I don't know what's going on with her. And I tell you this, Jeremy, our show's so weird because we get voices that aren't there. We had a spirit one night that sit there and moaned and groaned for a good 15, 20 minutes. And you say something about it, he'd get louder. So I think, what the hell, dude?
That's kind of crazy, isn't it?
Oh, dude, we've had voices come on here like you'll hear kids talking. Okay. My daughter is 35 years old. My granddaughter is 15. They live in California. The only little ones I got here is 2 dogs, and they don't talk like babies. I've heard children in here. I've heard grown-ass men in here. I've heard women. We've heard it on the show.
Well, see her?
Lee.
I see her. Hello?
She forgot to unmute.
She didn't unmute?
No, she's not unmuted. There she goes. Unmute.
Hello? I think you're on mute. I can't hear her.
Okay, I didn't know I was on.
Oh.
Charlie.
I was laughing. I was like, Lee, you're muted.
Say bye. Say bye.
Hey, Charlie. Hey, baby girl.
She's yelling, bye, bye.
Hey, Uncle Blaine will be there to see you Friday.
Uncle Blaine's coming to see you Friday. She said, I can talk to him.
Charlie.
Oh, I know she will.
Help mommy out.
No, me and Jeremy was having a good conversation. So
I was listening.
Yeah.
I was hearing about some of the investigations that you've done, and about how you fight spiritual battles with ancestors.
Oh, yeah.
I'll go back to mute. Hold on. Bella's upset she's leaving.
Yeah, she'll be back on a minute. She's probably letting go out of the house.
Of course.
But yeah, dude, this has been interesting talking with you, man. Talking with other people
definitely.
that have gifts like us, because we can share information with each other. And my grandpa taught me this a long time ago. It's like, if I know something, I teach you something. You know something, you teach me something. Then we both know something new. So we can take what we learn from each other to pass it on to someone else.
Oh, so you get some cards. Yeah.
Yeah, Jeremy, I wanted to give you a reading. Blaine, are you ready?
This rocket.
Usually we do this together.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, since you gave me that wonderful light that I've been using.
Oh, good. Are you enjoying it? I hope so.
Oh, yes. We took it inside of a museum, and the lights were all off while we were doing our investigation and everything. And it was perfect. And it worked perfect with the shadow people.
That's amazing. Now that you're on, I was saving an interesting story that just actually happened to me a few days ago, and I'd like to.
Oh yeah, please, and thank you for saving it.
I have way more. I was saving a lot of content just in case you guys want to talk, so I'm good for whatever. But basically, I was on my way to work last Wednesday, and when I was driving. Have you ever seen those how towns have like those walking paths that they have where people can go walking for like miles and miles on concrete?
Oh, yeah.
But when they cross the streets, they have those street lights things that you press the button and the lights flash and the people can cross the street so the cars won't hit them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I was driving to work, and about 100 feet down from where I was driving, there was actually the crosswalk with those lights, and the thing started flashing at 4:30 in the morning, and there was nobody there except for this black mass that crossed the street and just kept going. And I thought that maybe it was like a pressure plate or something like that. So when I pulled over to see how the device worked, it's actually a button that's actually seated into a socket. You actually have to push to activate the lights. So the spirit was actually strong enough to push the button and activate the lights across the street. I thought it was really, really an amazing thing to see before I went to work the other day. So.
It's so cool that it's like, I gotta get across the street. So even in death, it's still boop.
I'm thinking it must have been somebody who was in. Yeah, I think it must have been like a person who like did a lot of avid walking and
I bet so.
Could have passed away and just kept wanting to go for a walk. But I just found that it's interesting that they had enough strength to push in that because it takes like it takes a little bit of pressure to push in that button and trigger the flashing yellow lights in order to cross the street. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That's really cool. I have something almost as cool that happened in class. One of the students that Matthew and I have, she was there and she brought in something that was haunted and she wanted me to tell her what was about, the object. So I did, and it went really well. And the person that the object belonged to, he was there. It wasn't just me telling her about the object. He was there. And we were, talking about him, and he was so excited that,
oh, wow.
Yes, yeah, that's right. That's me. And he was so happy. He opened the door to the classroom and he hit it's like a same type of thing, a gizmo,
Right.
but this one's square like that,
Yeah.
where the other one's like a little hole, that you press the button with what you
Right,
were
right.
saying. This one is
Yeah.
like this, and it's in a big plate, and you press it for like
Yeah.
handicap access.
Yeah, to open the doors and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And it opened everything, and it was
Oh, damn.
crazy,
That's,
and
that's
then
pretty cool.
then he
Yeah,
went
it
to the bathroom and flushed the toilet. It's one
Nice.
of those motion activated, you go like that and it'll
Oh, yeah.
flush. Yeah. So we had all kinds of things happening. He was so happy that someone finally figured out he was there,
That's
Nice.
nice. It's like Blaine and I were talking about. It's really nice that we are able to have. Oh, wow,
This
cute
is
puppy.
Ginger. This is
Hi,
Ginger.
Ginger.
Come here, Luna. Come here. I wanted to show you my new adoptee. Go ahead. I'm listening, Jeremy. I just want to show you everything. Come here. Well,
Yeah, I feel that it's great that we are able to actually have these experiences,
Yeah.
and
I know.
the fact that they happen naturally instead of like sometimes you feel like when you go into like certain locations that have been investigated or to death that you're just getting the same old thing over and over again that other people have gotten. But sometimes it's nice to be out in a place you don't expect to have something happen, and then the energy comes in naturally. And
Yeah.
I find those to be some of the most satisfying experiences.
Yeah.
To be honest with
I
you.
agree with you there. One of the reasons why I use locations that are not so well known is for that reason. I don't have any preconceived ideas. They're likely spirits that are not familiar with the equipment, so it's a new situation for everybody. And there's stories that they want to tell. It's not just like these poor people are working, in Disneyland or something and having to do, yes, can you? It reminds me of that commercial, where they're going like this with the candelabra and the teapot, and they're like, I'm getting bored with this ghost hunting thing. And then I can't remember what they do, but all of a sudden they're full body apparitions and everybody passes out. You know what I'm talking about? This
No, I do. I'll be honest with you. My awkward curiosity, I would love to do some sort of ghost interaction at Disney World itself. Could you imagine?
I would too. Absolutely.
Just think about the amount of people who have accidentally perished at those facilities, whether they were workers or regular employees or even guests. Like I remember when I was younger, when I first went to Disneyland, somebody actually got killed on Thunder Mountain, the roller coaster, and had their head taken off while we were down there on vacation. And that was back in like 1987, 88. The amount of energies of people, dying from whatever. It happens all the time at those resorts. And you know that you'll never get an opportunity to go in there and do investigation style stuff, but just the thought of actually being able to do that is kind of intriguing to me. So
there's a friend of mine that goes on. I've only known him to be off of a cruise for about 2 weeks tops.
Wow.
And I've known him for about 6 years.
Wow.
His wife had knee replacement surgery, and then he just broke his ankle and can't put any weight on it. And other than they're having to wait to be able to travel, that's the only time they're either getting off of a cruise or getting back on. And I said, dude, you are going to haunt that boat when the time comes because that's his thing. Mm-hmm. He has a little a blog where he talks about what do you call it, the lying by the deck of the pool or something like that.
Yeah.
And he talks about his trips and the people that he meets. Everybody on the boat knows who he is.
I would hope so.
That's nice.
Yeah, they're the same people. He knows everybody's music that they're performing. He knows all of that.
But they didn't offer him a job at this point.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, they wonder if he's going to be somewhere. They'll call him. We're missing really you on this trip,
Oh, wow.
So I pulled 3 cards for you.
Okay.
Okay, the first one is this one.
Yeah.
Okay, you can see it because I took my filter off. This is the flute.
Okay,
Blaine,
yeah.
do you feel something? Do you feel anything yet?
Hmm?
Blaine and I usually do our readings about the same time.
Okay.
So when you have a flute show up in your cards, especially the first card, is leading the charge, is something where you are right now. And this is about expression, about being able to express who you are and where you come from, you know, your true self.
Okay.
And so this card is telling me to tell you to be sure to hang close with
Okay.
people that are they know who you really are. They see
Yeah.
your true self. I mean, you're the biggest teddy bear I have ever met. But you
I
know, when I
appreciate
look
that.
back, yeah, I mean, just as sweet as you can be, your whole energy around you is nothing but kindness and warmth. And I can see you being able to bring healing to a lot of people.
I
But
tried to
then,
do as much as I can. Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, there was a time there where you were pretty fierce. You know, you made your living of being a pretty fierce fella, you know, and of course, that was a lot of theater. I know. And
Yep.
it's so much fun. You know, my
It
dad
is.
was a my dad was a boxer, and he liked
Yeah.
that.
I remember you telling me about that when we first started talking, and it was
Mhm.
being involved in physical sports, even like physical sports entertainment, like we call it. The body, it takes a toll on the body and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah. Dad
definitely
had
feeling it
terrible
in my later
knees.
years.
Mhm.
You know, turning after I turned 50 this year, I can definitely feel all of the aches and pains.
I
Everything's
got
come
Yeah.
rolling in the door. It's like, hello.
Hey, Lee.
You're
What's that?
yeah,
Lee, I'm picking up that this Pied Piper vibe, like he's
yeah,
leading
yeah. I
other
agree.
people like him, and spirits are come, and which we know they're all attracted to us anyway. But he's got a following of spirits that always stay around him. It's like you're the Pied Piper, and they're following you anywhere you go.
And
I'm picking a lot of that.
people that are living and deceased that
Yeah.
follow you, that need your energy and need your kindness. So I want you to know you are making a difference, and that you should
Yeah.
continue to
Yep.
do to be you. And as you come more into yourself,
Yeah.
the more you're going to help other people, no
Yep.
doubt.
Stay your
Oh,
path.
wow.
Now, saying that, Blaine, again, you know how you segue in. This is the next card. It's called the Shaman card.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And the Shaman card, if you look at this, you see that he's, well, let me get it where you can,
Yep.
well,
I
I'm
can see
going the
it.
wrong way. He's got a drum.
Yep.
You see the master symbols here.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Those little swirlies.
Yep.
That's at least part of a master symbol. And you
Okay.
see the bird and the bear.
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay. It's very interesting. I don't know if you can see the bear, but there's a bird also on the drum.
Right. I can see it. Yeah.
So what this means there's the bear, that big honking thing back there.
Yep. I see
You,
it.
Okay.
you know what's funny, Lee? Is one of my spirit guides is a bear, and yours is a bird. How did that just coincidentally pop up there, huh?
I was about to say, because there's the red bird, which is
Mhm.
for love. Okay. And then we've got the thunderbird, which is that's my spirit
Mhm.
animal. And Blaine has the bear. And all of these are represented. And I'm going to get this straight. There we go. This is not just about this card. The card is the shaman card, which means completion. The truth is about being a shaman or being a spiritualist is to actually not just begin to learn, but
Right.
it's to complete the learning, to own it for yourself. And
Okay.
so notice the drum means that you're dancing to the beat of your drum, but the drum also stands for Mother Earth,
Okay.
because that is what the drum stands for in ceremony. That's the
Uh-huh.
heartbeat of the earth. So this means that this is who you were born to be, that you are now becoming.
I
And
definitely feel it. Yeah, I can definitely feel it. Yeah.
good. And
Mhm.
there is the sun and the moon in this card, which means day and night you're going to be the same person, And it also stands for, and notice the circle here. Okay. Yep. All of that means that the energies of the earth, all of the elements are behind you, that everything is in perfect alignment for you to continue down your journey of being not just a clairvoyant, but be able to utilize all of the clairs, all of the psychic, embodiments, so that you can help other people. And I think that is amazing. The shaman card means to be able to complete messages for people.
Yeah.
And also for yourself, that you are getting the message for yourself.
That's the one part that I don't usually get messages for myself. I think I'm so in tune with what other people need and what other people are doing that, and the shaman card definitely rings true. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I know that the shaman card rings true because I am like 25% Native American myself, and Blackfoot Indian. So I do have that Native American vibe. My spirit animal is the owl. I'm the owl as my spirit animal, and my secondary spirit animal is actually the bear. So it's the owl and the bear. So
right on.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The bear is the protector, and the owl, is the wisdom and the constant learning. Because I don't think we're ever going to truly learn everything we can about our gifts and about the paranormal, but whatever is allowed to be given to us, I want to absorb that and continue on with that too. So.
I like that. This last card is really exceptional because it is about abundance. It's about offering. And so I don't think you realize this, but the message you get for other people is what's sharpening you.
Mm-hmm.
It's how you are building yourself.
Yep.
Because you're getting immediate feedback. So the reason why you don't get the reading for you is because the reading is the actual doing of the reading is what's making you stronger and giving you what you need.
Oh wow!
But you are about to take lesson for yourself, because some of this stuff is for you to know, and other stuff is what you tell other people. It's for them to know, because Lee's the one that taught me this longer. It used to just bug me to death. Is I get a message for somebody, I could tell you who your spirit guide was, who your ancestors are, all that stuff. But ask me 5 minutes later after I told you, I know nothing.
Yeah,
I nothing. It wasn't meant for me to know. But yeah, you're about to embrace a whole bunch more.
Yeah,
because you're being guided on the right path now. But some of this stuff will be coming for you soon. I call it getting an upgrade. You're going to get that upgrade where you start to hear your spirit guide converse with you. Okay. You're going to hear family members one or two ways. You're going to see them in dreams, or they're going to come to you in something that you knew them for, like a scent. If like just say your grandpa wore high karate, you smell that bake.
My mother's always with me. She's always there. I know she's there. I always talk to her.
Who it is, but that's awesome that you do. And I'll tell you this: being Native American, okay, we all have 7 generations that are protectors of us from both sides, from your mom and your dad's. Okay, always. So they're there. Plus, your owl is there. Your bear is there. Okay. Lee, you got piano playing in the background?
Yes. Oh, I'm back. Great.
Hey, there she is. Yeah.
I'm back. Yes, I have smooth jazz for the mood.
Just, first thing was a flute and a drum, and I hear pianos. Like, we got a band going on right now?
Yeah, it's got snow falling. It's a library with glass windows and a fireplace. It was my way of getting ready for the reading.
Right on.
That's fantastic. It's good to put yourself into the space you need to be in.
This one is also important because it also means money. It means wealth. And there's many ways to be wealthy with friends, wealthy with spirit, but this also stands for wealth. So by you expressing yourself and completing what you start, helping other people too, then it's going to lead towards money.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you know what? Whatever helps,
Yippee!
whatever could definitely help. You know,
Yeah.
I'm just very happy and very fortunate for all of the
Yep.
things that I've been able to learn over the past 10 years
Yep.
in being involved in the paranormal, and
Oh yeah.
you know, getting the chance to meet and talk and help people has been my most important thing over the last couple of years for sure.
Yep.
You know,
And that is the greatest feeling. Like if you can help a spirit or help a person and make them feel better about themselves or get them in the right direction they need to go, that is like giving us the $10 million. It's equivalent to that without the financial gain part of it, of course, but you get that help. It's like it makes you feel better. It's like when I talk to my Native American spirits, I go to every location and I offer up tobacco and smoke to them every place I've ever been to.
yeah.
And to have those spirits do that. And somebody asked, why do you do that? I said, okay, if I gave you $10 million, you'd be real happy. Okay. To a Native American, what you just gave them by your voice, that smoke and that tobacco, it is like writing them a check for 10 grand because that's something they appreciated and they can consider that valuable. So yeah,
Absolutely.
I love that part of it. Yeah.
So what did you think about your reading? I know you weren't expecting it, but I just had to.
I really appreciate it, and I think it hit on a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
More so than I even like see, because sometimes I can't see it. I honestly feel that we're not allowed to see our whole picture because it hasn't been laid out to us entirely yet. I mean, other people who like yourself who are very in tune with doing readings, you can see more of my picture than I even can, and it was very enlightening to me, especially knowing that using my gifts and moving forward and trying to help people is the right path to go on, and to continue doing that. To me,
yes,
absolutely,
that's validation on knowing that doing what I'm doing is helping people the best I can.
Yep.
You know, and
absolutely.
And Jeremy, that's what I love when we do these readings. They are so accurate to what that person needs to hear or needs to know. Yeah. I don't think we've ever done a reading that didn't have significance.
That's right.
That the person who the reading was for, like yourself, is like, okay, that makes sense now. Okay, that makes sense now. Oh, okay, I get this now. It's beautiful. I love it when we get to do that.
It is an amazing feeling because when you do the cards and you're explaining it, and it's like, wow, that all makes sense. And sometimes when I don't know about yourselves, but when I'm doing stuff for people, sometimes you lose focus on some things as far as like your own growth is concerned, because you're so concentrated on one particular thing that you kind of lose focus of the big picture. And by tying back in the big picture, it actually opens up some interesting avenues. I think that's really cool.
It does.
I feel like it's so easy to get lost in it's not really tunnel vision, it's the reverse. It's like you're looking into it, you're caught up in everything.
Oh yeah, it's like a tree branch that just keeps branching out and out and out, and you're trying to chase all of the branches at one time when maybe you need to concentrate on one branch, and then when you close that one off you can work to another branch. But sometimes my mind just goes off into like 19,000 different directions. It's like, hey, come back here a little bit, will you? It's especially when you're really focused on what's that.
Well, Jeremy, that is one of the effects that we do get, because we do pick up so much different energies that our minds are always racing. They're always like trying to be 10 steps ahead of where we're already at, trying to figure out this, and this.
Yes.
It's one of the, I don't want to say it's a throwback, but I do the same thing. It's like, it's almost like you got ADHD, just you can't pay attention.
The ADHD, the OCD. For me, for some reason, and I'll be honest with you, within like the last 5 or 6 months, my OCD that I didn't even think I had has been kicking in weird ways. weird ways. And like, I don't know about you, but like lately I've been noticing that there are ways to get from A to D and being able to skip B and C.
Yes.
And I don't know why other people don't see that at the same time that I do. And I'm like, guys, you're doing too many steps to get to the same thing. Why don't you just go this way? It has the same result.
Yeah.
And sometimes, and people are like, oh, well, I didn't notice that. I'm like, well, how come not? It's right in front of you. And
I always think.
I know that sounds horrible, but it's
no, I get it.
No, it's like, okay, I always tell myself, path to least resistance. And that's the way my mind thinks. It's like, okay, if I go to A to D, instead of having to go to A, up here to C, to D, back to F, to G, back to D again.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd missed my whole purpose of what the hell I was doing. I'm like, no, you think the same wavelength I do. It's like, and very intelligent people that we do that. Because I can tell your energy, you're a very intelligent person. You're very well educated, so you know what's going on. And you're like me, you're just like thinking 10 steps ahead.
Yeah.
To this. And then you're already in your brain too, you're thinking 10 steps ahead for this next thing, and next thing, and next thing, and so on and so on.
You know, I'm very fortunate. Like, I mean, I never went past high school. I got my high school education. I never went to college or anything like that. But I feel that I'm very lucky that I learned common sense and I learned street smarts and I learned how to incorporate that in. And like lately, it feels like people are just so caught up in their anxiety and their and all of that they're just not paying attention to what's going on around them. And you know, I think that you can feel it. I don't know about you guys, but I feel when I walk by a group of people, like when I'm working with my coworkers, I can feel their anxiety. I can feel their anger and their frustration. And being an empath and being clairvoyant, it's like then if you don't watch out, you're gonna get stuck with that stink on you for the whole day. It's like, oh God, now I'm like, why am I anxious? Why am I having why did my day go to shit in 2 seconds? I have no idea what happened. And it was because somebody's energy rubbed off on you, and you want to help everybody, but you can't really help everybody. You would love to be able to do that, but sometimes people need to.
Jeremy, this is what I do, and I get in a situation like that. I can feel anxiety of a group. First thing I'll say, I think you guys need a woosah moment and just walk away from them.
Oh my God, the woosah.
Hey, it works though. You'll see him. All the energy's like, maybe he's right. Woosah, and then they're better.
Yeah, and sometimes people should do a woosah moment, but sometimes, a lot of times, people just can't do it. They just won't listen.
Yeah.
You know,
the ones that are tended to listen, they will, and the ones that won't do it. You know, let them be their own self, because thine own self be true. So why not? But if I can help 2 or 3 of those people in that group, and then that makes their energy better, hey, it was worth it. You know?
Yeah. For me, I just say, if I hear that, I'll say, I am not picking this up. You're going to have to clean this up for yourself, and I'll walk away. Nope, I'm not doing this. Y'all going to have to make another plan, and I'll just walk off. Y'all, I'm not doing this.
You're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Lee. And, you know, it's the what I've noticed is, like, now that we're getting closer to the holiday season too, people's anxieties and people's, like, you know, just whatever kind of energies or whatever kind of thoughts or what they're going through, they get more intensified at this time of year.
Yes, it does. People get right on the edge.
As some people become more joyous when the holiday season comes, a lot of folks who have, you know, had family members who have crossed to the other side or things going on in their lives, it becomes more stressful. And you know, being clairvoyant, you feel all of that, and it's like, oh my God.
Yes.
And I'm thankful. Yeah, I think I've been learning how to compartmentalize the energies and like move them around to certain areas. Like, okay, I don't need you guys right now. You can just bow aside and go somewhere else. And, you know, I think when I first started talking to you, and I told you that, you know, when I was saying that I rebranded myself as paranormal communicator versus the paranormal investigator, because, like, what are we investigating? Like I was talking to Blaine earlier, and I feel that, you know, like with the communicating part, it helps with the living as well as the as those that we talk to when we go out on our trips of discovery with spirit and stuff like that.
Yep.
So, you know, I
like that, being able to
Yep.
communicate. You're not looking for a specific message, or I do like to investigate in another way, because I will ask, this is what we're dealing with. What would you do?
Yeah.
You know, I
Right.
try to have real conversations with them.
Yeah.
exactly that. Like I was saying before was like, the investigation part. Like, I'm not an investigator. I think I make the jokes of like, you know, I don't work for like some kind of an investigation company. I love to go to these places and can communicate with spirits, whether we're using the tech devices or like I'm more of an old school person, like I was saying, with like the dowsing rods and the pendulums and all the old school communications. I prefer that more than the high tech with the bells and whistles and all of the lights and all of those kind of things too. And like nowadays, I feel like within the last couple of years, ever since like the pandemic, the energy level and the veil is like the thinnest it's ever been.
Yes.
And you can feel the energy shift big time within like the last year or two. At least in my perception. I mean, I could be wrong, but
No, you're right. You're right.
You're right, 100%.
I'll get this like you got a full glass of water and you lay it on the table and you get the rivets of the rolls in it. That's what I feel. The energy, like when the veil's so low, like right now it's so thin, is I can feel that.
Oh, it's horrible.
No,
Like what I mean by horrible. It's
overwhelming.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
No, it can be horrible at times. I will totally agree with you. And there are moments when I go into certain areas, I get like a rush of spiritual energy that's like so intense that it makes you feel uneasy for a good stretch, and that's not really a fun feeling either. But
nope,
you know,
that's why that's why I learned these little block techniques. That it's funny. I actually learned these to teach children that have gifts to protect themselves. And okay, since we already know energy is always around us, I imagine a white bubble light around me. That's the lowest form. You go to a yellow, then to a blue, then a red. Okay. And I tell them, look, you can use one level at a time or combine the levels or use them all at the same time, whatever makes you comfortable. And it goes back to psychology, where most people have a 3-foot bubble around them. That's their personal space. Same with spirits. You got to put that shield up because they're not petulant little kids. They don't know. What's the word I'm looking for? Personal space. Yeah,
that's right. You're right. Isn't it the truth? They don't know personal space, and they want to talk and they want to communicate maybe a little too much.
Yeah.
The next thing you know, they're wanting to continue to talk to you, and you can't talk to your family because everything you can hear it going on in the back of your head. Sometimes they over communicate to the point where they're not communicating clearly. Only thing you hear is wailing. Blaine and I had that. We couldn't get control of the conversation with the spirit. He just kept wailing and wailing and wailing, and we couldn't make sense of what was going on. So we finally ended up having to use another spirit to communicate with that spirit, and even the spirit was having problems communicating with the other spirit. And I was like, okay, we are really in bad shape because we're not getting anywhere. And so finally, the mother of the spirit that was wailing, she was also in spirit. She was able to communicate and at least let us know what was going on.
Yeah.
So it was crazy. Blaine and I just looked at each other like, no. We were in a lot of emotional pain for them too, and it was just continuous. It was like rubbing salt in a sore.
Yeah, to me it was like okay, you're in the store with your child, and all of a sudden your child's gone. Now you're thinking, okay, where's my child? The kid's like, where's my mom at? Mom's looking, where's my kid at? They're getting that kind of anxiety, And that's what we picked up off these experiences. Like they were trying to find each other and couldn't get back together.
They couldn't connect. It was just
and then
Oh,
we
wow.
had to, like you said, we had to get other spirits, which was actually the lady's husband and the little girl's dad. We got him to bring the two back together. And so the whole family was back
Yeah.
together.
and that was the one of the first times I think anybody's ever really investigated when there were interdimensional
Mhm.
conversations where we could actually see another spirit drag another one
Yep.
into the current dimension so that they wouldn't miss each other.
It was
Oh,
so
wow.
it was so badass and so the word joyous for us to see
Yeah.
that family reunited, because I had been to this place a lot more times than Lee has. It was old Sloss Furnaces here in Alabama, which you can't investigate no more. But we'd see, and I'll tell the story how the spirits got down there. Okay, down at Sloss Furnace, they have a little tunnel area that they used to bring all the stuff to make the pig iron. Well, the mother was the lunch lady. She had a cart and she'd take lunches down to the people working down in the tunnel.
Yeah.
Well, her 5-year-old daughter, she told her to stay upstairs. Wait for her. Well, Mama walks down the stairs. She trips, breaks her neck. She dies instantly right there. And by the time
was
the men
horrible.
by the time the men got to her and started dragging her away, the 5-year-old started going down the stairs and she broke her neck.
It was more like almost a ladder.
Yeah.
And so both of them got killed.
Yeah.
And we saw almost like a time trip
Mm-hmm.
because we saw them take her in the cart with the mom and the daughter upstairs. I'm sorry, Blaine. We finish each other's
No.
sentences.
That's fine. You were there too, so
Yeah.
Right.
And the father was there and watched both of them being, going by, and he went out of his mind right then.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they are in their time period at Sloss Furnace in the time where he was working and she was working and the 5-year-old was working too, but
Mhm.
before all of that happened, before any of the tragedy happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sad.
And the longest time it was like, okay, the mother would be looking for the daughter, couldn't see each other. The daughter would be there looking for her mother, couldn't see each other. I could see both entities, the mother and the daughter, but they're
Yep.
on different wavelengths.
Yeah.
And but I could see them perfectly clear. And
I could see the dad.
the dad when the dad finally got there, he told me, he says, "What can I do to help?" I said, "Can you go grab your wife and grab your daughter, get them back together? That way, all three of you be back together." And that was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen when that family got reunited. Because they died.
Well, he got one
late
and he couldn't get the
1800s.
other. So he couldn't get the other.
that's
So he
right.
had to leave one with us. And meanwhile, they're flipping out. And then he went to get the other. And we did manage to keep those. I can't remember if we had the mother or the daughter.
We held the daughter and he took the wife. He got the wife first and he got the daughter second.
That's right, because Elijah was helping.
Yeah, Elijah helped with that. That's right.
Yeah.
That is really amazing that they were willing to work together like that and
Look
get
up.
the
It was-
results.
By the time it was done, there were 6 of us.
Yeah.
3 in spirit and 3 in the flesh working on
Yeah.
this thing.
And I had been trying to get these. I didn't even know about the father until Lee and them got there. I'd always seen the daughter and the mother. And then when we got the father finally in the picture, oh my God, it helped so much getting that family back together. And it was just so cool to see, because I could see that, being an empath, we could feel the mom's hurt and anguish because she can't see her daughter, and the child's anxiety and fear. And
see, the father couldn't normally help because he was out of his mind. And when he saw my son looked enough like their family where he thought he was a member of the family, and it kind of brought him out of his stupor. And now we've got his help, and now they're all together.
Yep.
That's fantastic.
It was. Yeah. And that's something we've done that with so many spirits, me and Lee and her husband Matt. It's such satisfaction. And I'm sure that you're going to get to do or have done a lot of the same thing, combining spirits back with the people they belong
Yes.
with.
I mean, maybe in like not knowing that I have in certain aspects, but I've definitely helped. I have helped some spirits cross and meet up with their family members on the other side.
Oh, that's
You
wonderful.
did exactly what you were meant to do.
Yes.
And by you crossing them over, it did bring them back with their families. And the joy that they felt as soon as they hit that, I call it the door, once that door opened, I've
Right.
had several of them turn back, look at me before they went through and goes, thank you. I see my family. I don't know what you did, but you made us go home. Thank you. And then there are several times like the family members will poke their head off the door, goes, thank you, Mr. Blaine. We've been wanting our husband back for years and years and years. Now we got him. Thank you. And then they all happy cry and hug and go have a good meal together.
Yeah.
It's just wonderful.
Let me just say that spirits, when they cross over, they can cross back.
Yes.
I don't know if you've experienced that yet, but
I
it
have.
happens.
There was one time that I know that when I was on an investigation, and the people that we were with who were more experienced than me at the time had crossed a spirit over, and then we came back to that location the following year, and that spirit was back again. So it makes total sense that they're able to travel back and forth.
But it's of their will now. That's the difference.
But
They're not stuck.
before they were stuck on this plane, and they
Exactly.
couldn't cross.
And
I crossed 2 children.
Yeah.
Blaine, do you remember that? I think I called you
do.
the night I was doing it. The children were murdered, and they were little toddlers. And I crossed them, and they came back to tell me thank you. I woke up and my bed was doing this, and it was them jumping on the bed, and they came back to say hey, and they hugged me. And they left.
And one of the things I've found out is like, okay, when a person dies, okay, and then you cross them over, they go through steps of levels they have to go through. It might be life lessons, it might be changing their whole perception of attitude or whatever. But they can go from that first one across and go up to as many levels as they have to go through. Now they can go back through every level except the human body they left, because it was just a vessel for them at the time.
Right.
So, but that's fascinating stuff to me.
Hey, it's 8:58.
Okay.
I want to be able to use this as an encore because my son's birthday is coming, and I'd like to have this one again. So I can't go over, or it won't play as an encore. So
that's fine.
I just wanted to ask: does anybody have any way of being in contact with? How would you like people to contact you?
I mean, I have Facebook, Jeremy Cotter. I'm on Facebook. I have the Instagram, which is YodaMan1973. I'm always willing to talk to anybody who wants to talk, and it's a really, really cool experience. I just started with all the TikTok stuff. I haven't done any like videos or anything like that, any content with that yet. But I find that to be entertaining too. So,
very cool.
And I get a chance to run into many people at all the different conventions and things that we go to. So, I really thank you guys for the opportunity to come on here this evening.
Happy to have you. Please come back. I want to be able to talk to you for 2 hours. I want you to come back.
I know. I want to get to go to some of these cons that you guys go to. So we got to work on that next year. Because I'd love to go back to New England.
Gettysburg next year, man. We'll be in Gettysburg next year in July.
Absolutely.
We're going to try to get ourselves. Yeah, we're going to try to get ourselves added to that Paracon next year, because I love Gettysburg. Oh my God! And then when I'm up there too, I get to go to my favorite convenience store, Sheetz, and get real food. I thought people was like, "Do you like Sheetz or Wawa?" I said, "Give me Sheetz anytime. They'll cook you a chili cheese dog at 3:30 in the morning."
That's so cool. Well, I've got us a new blessing, Blaine. I think you're going to love it.
Let's rock it.
I always end with a Native American blessing, Jeremy. And now that I know you're Blackfoot, I know you'll really like this. Oh, great spirit, the one who watches over all of us, grant us serenity of the still waters, the calmness of a gentle breeze, and the clarity of the morning sun. Guide our hearts to walk the path of peace. May our steps be gentle upon the earth, and may our thoughts be pure like the morning dew. Help us to embrace the beauty of diversity and to live in harmony with all living things. Let peace fill our hearts, our homes, and our world, like the sacred smoke that rises to the heavens. May it spread and envelop us all, connecting every soul in a circle of tranquility. In the spirit of unity, we seek your blessing to walk hand in hand towards a future of understanding where the winds of peace blow freely across the land and the sacred hoop is mended for generations to come. Thank you for watching Family Spirit International.
Thank you.